Hi everybody, so today I'm going to show you how to make Winnie the Pooh in an EOS cover. So the EOS stick is inside. The lip balm, just kind of slide it right out. You can get to it and then put it back nicely. I've attached a key ring to this. That part is optional. If you'd like to do that, you can attach it to, your purse, your bag, your knapsack, your key ring, and it goes back in nicely. The supplies that I'm using yellow. You can use neon orange, the rainbow loom banana color, the mango color, whatever you'd like. You could even use caramel and just create a little bear. I'm using red, black, two 4mm black pony beads for the eyes, and stitch marker, key ring, optional. I'm using my hook, scissors, you're gonna need scissors, and a piece of thread. So you don't need very much. This is just to have a clean finish to attach the nose. You can use any color that you have lying around or either do a slip knot with a black band. That part's up to you. So I'm gonna get started and I do hope you enjoy. The first thing that I'm gonna do is a magic ring with 5 stitches. So I'm gonna take my first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now bring 5 bands through, one at a time. So you're going to reach in with your hook, bring your band through, end on your hook, and top loop over. Bring it to the side, go back in, bring your second band through, end on your hook, and bring the top 2 loops over. Bring it to the side and continue. Back in for your third band, bring through, end on your hook, and top 2 loops over. And you just want to continue like that. Top 2 loops over. Top 2 loops over. Remove off the loom and move your bands around. You're going to attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook, secure it, and you should have 5 stitches. For round 2, I'm going to increase on each chain around. So I'm basically doing 2 single crochets in each chain, 1 band at a time. So 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first chain, do a single crochet with 1 band, and then you're just going to go back in to do another single crochet in that same chain. So there was 1, go back in, so there's your increase, go to the next chain to add 2, 1 at a time. Back in, and repeat. You're going to continue until you get to your stitch marker. And the last chain. Back in. So again, you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase to 15 stitches and add the eyes. The pattern is going to be a single crochet followed by an increase, single crochet followed by an increase, and you're going to repeat that pattern 5 times. The eyes are going to go on your 8th stitch and the 13th stitch. So if you want to copy the layout just like mine, if you don't have the beads, you can take a single black band and wrap it around your hook maybe 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then just slide it onto a yellow rubber band or whatever color you're using for the body. And you can use that for the eye. So right now, I'm just going to follow the layout and twist this. I'm going to start in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled. and I'm going to follow the pattern. Single crochet followed by an increase. So first chain is with 1, and chain 2 has 2 bands, 1 at a time. Back in, and repeat. 1, 2. Next chain with 2. Now I'm going to be adding the eye on this row right here. So first I'm going to do the single crochet. The next chain, I'm adding 2 bands. The first one is with the eye. So this would be your 8th stitch that you just did on this round. Go back in that same one with the eye and add the second rubber band. Now you want to continue. Now I have 2 chains left, 2 sections left. Second last chain has the eye. And the last chain where the stitch marker is your increase. So you want to remove your stitch marker. You should have 15 stitches. Add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to increase to 17 stitches. So I'm going to do 3 single crochets followed by an increase. Then I'm going to do 10 single crochets followed by an increase. And at the end of round 4, you're going to have 17 stitches. So I'm going to go on the first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and I'm going to follow the layout. 1 band in the first 3 chains and then an increase. Now this is the 4th chain. You're adding 2 bands. Now 10 single crochets, and the last chain where your stitch marker is, you're adding the 2 bands. Don't skip your little chain that's being pulled from the eye if you're using the beads. And the last chain is your increase. Back in. Should have 17 stitches, and remove your stitch marker. Add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 5, 6, and 7, you're going to do 17 single crochets, 1 band in each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm going to do rounds 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video, complete the next 2 rounds, and come back to me when you're done. So starting in the first chain, just single crochet, 1 band all the way until you get to your stitch marker. Should have 17 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, pause the video, continue, and come back to me when you're done. Now this is what you should have so far, and what I want you to do is secure this band so you can, if you're using a stitch marker, you just attach it to the bands here, but you want to secure this because I'm taking it off of my hook. So you can put that to the side, and we're going to create the nose. So for the nose, what I'm going to do is a cap band wrapped four times, and then single bands doubled and doing slip stitches. So the first one is 4 times around your hook. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So you have 4 loops. Now you're going to take your first band, a single band, and double it. So I'm just going to put it around my hook so it's not a stretched band after, because black kind of changes the color when you double it, like you do a figure 8. So I just doubled it around my hook. One more time, and I'm going to change that band. It was kind of thin. So just twist it, secure it, and bring this band, cap band, on your band. Put your end on your hook, grab onto your cap band, and slide. Now don't pull like this. You want to kind of hold the cap band because otherwise your opening is going to be really big. So I'm going to hold and then give it a tug. Remove and give it a tug. Now you're going to go back in that cap band, and I'm going to go on the opposite side and repeat. Single band doubled, secure, and bring on top. End on your hook and slide. Now I'm going to hold on to the rubber band part and give it a tug. Go back in, and you're going to do this one more time. So I'm going to do it on the top now. Wrap twice, secure, bring through, end on your hook, and you're doing a slip knot because you're going to tie it off here. And now if the opening is kind of big, it will close up eventually, but you just kind of want to squeeze it together just to close that opening. And this is what you should have. Now you want to cut yourself a piece of thread. Basically, let's see how long it is. I'm being generous with my thread. I don't need that much, but I'm just kind of like, just being generous with it. And it's in half here, it's doubled. What I'm going to do is bring this piece right through the center of the magic ring. All of the pieces. If you don't have the thread, you could do a slip knot with the nose using an extra band. I was just trying to avoid having all these pieces inside so it would sit nicely on the EOS. If you don't have the thread, you can use any color. You just want to bring your ends right beside on either side of the magic ring. And then you can do a slip knot with a band. I am using the thread, so I'm going to go from the back to the front, right through the magic ring. And I'm going to bring my pieces through. So find your nice side, whatever side you'd like. I prefer this side. So I'm going to go from the top and put all these pieces on my hook. So there's 6 little loops. And I'm going to bring it to the back. So I have them all on my hook. And I'm going to bring it through the back, right through the center of that magic ring, keeping it on my hook. And I'm just going to flip the face here. So I have something to work with here so I can see. Now what I'm going to do is, with this in half, I'm going to hold on to it, secure it, and I'm going to bring this thread through all of these 6 little loops. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bring them through. And I'm going to pull one end out. So I'm not going to tie it right away, but I'm pulling one end out, so I have one end on either side. Now what I'm going to do is, around the magic ring, you have these bands, these little loops. I'm going to secure this, because if you just tie it off now, it's just going to fall right out. So what I'm going to do is go through 4 on this side with this thread. just grabbing onto it and bringing it through. You could probably go through 4 of the loops with your hook and then just bring the thread one time. I haven't attempted. And now the other side with the other string. Make sure that you're using the other string, the other end. So let's try. I'm going to go through 2 and bring it through. And now you're just going to secure it by doing a knot. And I'm probably going to go around 3 times doing, 3 knots. So that was 1. I'm making sure that it's tight. I'm going to do it again. 2. And 3. Now cut, don't cut too short, but you don't need to have the pieces hanging. So just kind of a cleaner look. You turn it around. What I'm going to do now is fix the eyes. So I'm going to push them through the V that you see so that they're flush. And you're going to have this band that's kind of loose, so just give it a little tug. And the other side. Through the V. Now we're going to do the eyebrows, and I'm going to use a single band, and I'm going to end up cutting that band and tying it into a knot. What I'm going to do is go through on either side of the eyes right at the top, and I'm going to go from the front because I find going from the front a little bit easier than going from the back to tie it off. So find the eye, and I'm just going to go through one of the stitches, skip, and go through the next. So you can kind of see the placement of where the eye is. And I'm going to bring a single band through. This band is very thin. Keep grabbing it. I'm going to bring the band through, grab the end, and I'm just going to kind of take my hook off, being very careful, and I'm going to cut one end of the band. Now this is the tricky part. If you can't do it, you can just do a slip knot with an extra band if you wish, but I think you'll be just fine. So I've cut one end. I'm going to hold on to one end, grab the other end, and bring the end through. And now I'm going to tie this off. When you tie this off, don't go too tight. So I'm going to give it kind of like a tug, and I'm just crossing. I'm not going right down to the end, but give yourself room, and it might take you a minute or 2, and tie it off. I'm going to bring this to the back. This is where I'm going to go and just hide it. So there's one. And now for the other side, same thing. Find your placement. So you can kind of look at it and you'll be able to tell nicely where to put it. And I'm going to bring the band through, and the same thing. Grabbing the end, making sure that it's even on both sides. Remove slowly. Cut the end. And hold on to one end and bring the other end through to the other side. And now I'm just going to tie it. And bring the end. Now I'm going to do this line right above the nose. So the nose, what I did is I went through 2 of the chains or 2 of the stitches on either side. So basically, like you can see that I'm just gonna need, like you can go through this section through this section. I just thought it was just too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through right through the chain and open it up. And I'm gonna go to the next side. So again, I'm going through the front just so you can see. If it's easier for you to go through the back, I'm gonna open up this chain right here. And I'm gonna bring my band through that. So those chains are attached to the magic ring. They were the first round that we did. Cut an end, hold on, and bring the other end through. And the same thing, you're going to tie it off. And you're going to have to go through that chain again just to bring it towards the back. And I'm just going to give it a tug so it kind of opens up everything so it's not too tight. The mouth is up to you. You can go straight. I'm going to go on a little bit of a side. It's wherever you feel comfortable and you'd like to add it. So just below the nose area, I'm kind of like skipping the row that's attached to the magic ring, going right below and then just catching these two here. So I'm kind of to the side. Find your placement and you're going to do the same thing. Bringing a band through. I'm going to kind of like fix it up. You're going to cut one end and then just bring the other end through. Ooh, I almost lost it. And then tie it off. And you want to bring this piece to the back. And then we're going to cut all these pieces in the back. So you're going to turn this around and just clean it up. I mean, you can leave it if you'd like. You don't have to cut them too short. I stretched mine really good before making, when I made the other ones, just to make sure that it didn't fall apart. It was pretty good. They're still there. Now we're going to create the ears. And I'm going to do this side first. So what I'm going to do is, here's the eye placement. I'm going to show you where to start first, and then I'll show you the pattern. If you can see where the eye is, you're going to see this line here, this row of stitches. You're going to go to the next stitch above. What I'm going to be grabbing is this one. So I'm not grabbing right at the end, it's the stitch over. So it's not the row, it's kind of like the middle of the eye. And I'm going to do a chain of 3 using double bands. Now we're going to bring it over, and I'm going to skip one stitch. Remember, don't grab the last chains where the end is. You're staying right the row before. Skip this one and grab this one. So you can look at it and just make sure that you like your placement. You can tell right now. And you're going to do a slip stitch with a band. So bring it through all of the loops, grab the end, and then slide. Now for round 2, you're going to go reverse. You're going to use 4 bands. You have 3 chains right now. 1, 2, and 3. The fourth band, you're going to do a slip knot right on the chain where you started. So I'm going to turn the face is facing away from me, and I'm going to go in through the chain with those double bands here and do a single crochet. The next stitch, single crochet. And the last chain, single crochet. So I have one more band and we need to tie this off. So I'm going to grab the chain on the head and do a slip knot to secure it. And you're just going to open it up, and we'll hide this in a minute. Now for the other ear, we're going to repeat exactly the same thing, and to find the placement, you're going to skip 2 chains from where you ended here, this ear right here. So I'm in the center of the face here. You're going to have a chain here, 1 and then 2, and you're going to go to the third one, and that's where you're going to start the ear. Now again, I'm not at the chain, the last one, I'm at the row before where we ended here. So I skipped 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to do a chain of 3 using double bands. You're going to skip a stitch and go to the next. So I'm not at the end stitches, I'm at the row before, and slip stitch. Bring it through all the loops, grab the end, and slide. For round 2 of the ear, again, you're going to do 3 single crochets and then close it off on the chain and do a slip knot where you started. So I'm going to go through the chain of doubles here, double bands, single crochet. Grab the chain where you started and slip knot. Bring it through all the bands and tie it off. So just to make sure, you want to check the placement. You can even put it on the stick just to make sure. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide these slip knots. And I'm going to go through, you're going to see right beside where your slip knot is, the opening on the head. What you want to do is grab the chain on the ear, so go through the opening of the head, go through the chain on the ear, and bring that slip knot through. Go to the other ear, go through the chain on the head, go through the chain on the ear, bring your slip knot through. Right to the back. I'm going to turn it around, so inside out, and I'm going to hide these slip knots right through the little chains that you have on the head. So just find little chains. You're probably going to have to go through 3 sections. So that was 1, just little chains on the head, 2, and 3. And repeat for the other side. Now we're going to continue here and we're going to change color to the red. So this is going to be his shirt inside here. We're going to put this back on our hook. So you want to unsecure your stitch marker if you attached it to any of the chains and put it back on your hook. And I'm going to have this nice and uniformed here. It's going around, and I'm going to start off with round 8 here. You're changing to red, so you're going to start off with a slip stitch. You're going to do 17 single crochets, 1 band in each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Don't go where it's getting pulled. First chain. Bring it through all the loops that are on your hook so you have a nice clean start of a brand new color. The next chain with 1. So you just want to continue until you get to your stitch marker. So you can pause the video, come back to me when you're done. For rounds 10 and 11, you're going to change to yellow here, and again you're going to do 17 single crochets. 1 band in each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way. Each pile I have 17 bands. So what I'm going to do is change color. So I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and again we're going to do a slip stitch, bringing it through all the loops, grabbing the end and sliding, don't pull. And you're just going to continue around. 1 band in each chain, until you get to your stitch marker. So you can pause the video, continue, and come back to me when you're done. Round 12 is our last round. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 16 single crochets. You have 17 stitches, so I'm going to stop at the stitch before the stitch marker. The last stitch, you're going to start creating a chain. So you're going to bring double bands through all of the stitches to start creating a chain. So I have 16 bands here, 5, 10, 15, and 16. You want to do 16 single crochets. And then I'll show you what to do with the last double bands. 1 band in each chain, and you'll stop at the stitch before the stitch marker. Let me just pick up my stitches. I dropped them. So you can see I'm at the second last stitch here. Single crochet. Now where your stitch marker is, go through the last chain and bring double bands through all of the loops. And there you're starting to create your chain. Now we're going to create a chain of 5, not including this band. This would be the 6th. So I'm going to pull double bands through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So double bands. And you're continuing with the chain. Now you want to kind of bring it to the opposite side, somewhere on the opposite, so not like this, it won't stay on. You want to bring it straight across. Go through the chain with your hook, and you're going to take a single band and do a slip knot to secure it. Bring it through all the loops and tie it off. Now I'm going to hide this slip knot, so I'm just going to go through the chain because I like to go through the chain so I don't overlap. Bringing this slip knot through, and then again I'm just going to hide it right through these little knots. And for sure, you'll have to go through 3 sections. You can remove your stitch marker and put it on. So you're just going to open it up. Now we're going to create the 4 legs. And I'm going to use the same technique that Tracy Lewis used for her Whimsical pig. It was like a perfect fit for this. And each section is 1 leg. Now what I'm going to do first is just do the first leg by wrapping 3 bands, 1 at a time, around my hook 3 times. And then I'll show you the placement. So grab 1 band, 1, 2, and 3. The next, wrap 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. And then the last, 1, 2, and 3. With this band, I'm just going to slide it through. So what I'm going to find is the placement. I'm going to be grabbing on an angle for the first leg. So if you're looking at the eye, face is away from you, follow basically the same line. And I'm not going sideways, but I am right above the red here, and I'm just grabbing 1 chain. And I'm going to bring a single band through all of these loops that are on my hook. So through the chain, and then I'm just going to pinch all of these bands and bring it on top. Grab the end, slide it through the other end of that band, and I'm going to wrap this around the leg. So bring it over. You might have to let go with your hook and bring all these bands through. And there's 1. Now for the next leg, you're going to skip a stitch, which should be directly right under the nose. And you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, and that's where you're going to go. So right in there. But first I'm just going to wrap these around my hook. 3 bands, 1 at a time, wrap 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, and 3. So again, skip the stitch right beside it, and you're going to go on an angle. So kind of, it's like on an angle right here where the eye is. Bring your band through all of the loops. Grab the end and slide. And then you're going to bring it right around the legs, making sure that you're on the other side of all of these loops. Now for the bottom part of the legs, we're just going to go on the yellow stitches right here, and this is where we're going to use. So I'm just going to prep one of the legs here, 3 bands, wrap 3 times around your hook. Now to find the placement, right in the center, so follow the nose. This is your center. I'm going to go on the other side. So it's kind of like directly, and I'm going to go sideways. It's kind of directly under the other leg in the same area. Bring a band through all of the loops. Grab the end, slide, and then wrap it around. Now you're going to prep the other leg, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then 1, 2, and 3. Now you want to find the placement. I'm going to skip this stitch, and I'm going to skip the next one, so you're going to have 2, and grab the next chain. Bring your band through all of the loops. Grab the end, slide, and then wrap it around. And he should stand. Now if you want, you can add a keychain to it. So all I'm going to do is this type of keychain that I have came with this piece here. So I'm just going to put it through, or you can just use this piece, whatever you prefer. And he's done. So I hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. Please subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time with another. Bye for now.